Guys, today we are in the studio with Inshira. What we are doing is we're going to be playing with one light and we're going to be capturing a beautiful portrait or headshots of Inshira. And I want to modify this one light in 3 different ways. So the first one we're going to go off with is like this bare bulb direct flash on hair. It is quite easy to identify hard light sources. Hard light is characterized by strong direct light that creates deep shadows and high contrast in your images. It's often produced by a small unmodified light source such as the bare bulb that I'm using. From this, I'm going to add a softbox, you know, like an average size, and then we're going to go like really large with a scrim. And this is like a scrim that I feel everybody has. This is not going to be the scrim that like the scrim gyms. We're going to have like our own DIY scrim, and it's going to be like really large, and so we'll create a very soft light on hair. So let's start with this one. We'll see what we get, and then we'll modify it and then see what we get as well. When using hard light for portraits, you want to position your light source at a 45-degree angle to their face because you'd probably want to create an image with a bit of drama. This angle will help create strong shadows and add depth and dimension to your image. It's important to note that hard light can be quite unforgiving, so it's important to pay attention to your subject's skin texture and any imperfections that may be highlighted by the harsh light. It is also better to consider investing in an external flash that can be pointed directly at your subject. This gives you more control in terms of modifying it or even angling the height, the position, or where you want the light source to shine from. So for my camera, I'm shooting with the Fuji GFX 100S. It's a medium format camera, and I have on there the 110 GF lens. I'm shooting at f5.6 on the aperture, 125 on the shutter speed, and ISO 100. My flash power is at 1/8. And also you notice that we have it a little bit further away from the backdrop. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want this light to travel all the way to hit the backdrop. I want to create a bit of depth in there. That's beautiful. So this one light is not being modified with anything. By taking this first shot, you see that it goes completely dark. So it's completely underexposed. We've killed all of the ambient light. Now, if I take a shot, ooh, that's actually amazing. Okay, so another thing I want you to note is that because of how high this light is, I will want you to raise your chin. Not so much, just a little bit, so we have like nice light hitting your face, but that's beautiful. Okay, cue that. Yeah, that's a nice smile. Beautiful. Just lift your chin a little bit, maybe just tilt your head. Yeah, that's it. Keep that. Yeah, one more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make this light source a little larger. So I'm just putting it on this softbox. We have different sizes of softboxes. There are some that are way bigger than this, but again, I'm just using what I have readily available. Soft light is characterized by a large diffuse light source that produces gentle, even lighting with minimal shadows. Even with this statement I made, there are still some nuances in that there are really large double diffused and inverted softboxes like the 7-foot parabolics that will create a way softer light than a 60cm softbox, so keep that in mind. The general idea, however, is that softboxes spread the light over a larger area and create a softer, more flattering look. Okay, so now that I have mounted the softbox, I know it's also going to eat away some of the power from the light, but let me just see where we are, and then we'll be able to make adjustments from here. All right, I also want to just bring my exposure so I can see where I'm at, and you can see that this says that we're really underexposing, but now The good thing is I can see a catch light in her eyes. I can see that the shadows are not very defined. There's no like defined line, even though we have some shadows present. This is really good. In comparison to hard light sources, soft light can be quite forgiving and can help to smooth out any imperfections in your subject's skin. In this example, I'm using a relatively small softbox which is positioned further away and a lot high up, and so the effect will not be very visible when compared to being placed about a foot away from the subject. And then just bring your face back. Yeah, just like that. Oh yeah, that's nice. I can even get closer. Amazing. Can you ruffle the hair again so it comes? Actually, let me also drop the height of the light a little bit. Yeah, I like this. Do you like it? Maybe let's do one where you're not oh yeah. Yeah, this is really good. This is really good. We've been experimenting with all sorts of lighting setups, and I've got to say this last one was a real game changer. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a technical difficulty with the audio, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it. For a final step, I decided to use the inner diffuser of my large reflector as a scrim. The goal was to create a huge light source, and so we set up the scrim with 2 C-stands and placed the light right in the center. To really control the spill, we added a 7-inch cone to the light. And let me tell you, the results were amazing. The best part about using a modifier like this is that once you determine the distance from your subject to the scrim, you can even adjust the distance of the light to the scrim itself, thereby creating all sorts of variations in the quality of light. And if we wanted to introduce some drama, we could have even set the scrim at an angle to really shake things up. The great thing about using a modifier this size is that it's always incredibly soft and flattering. It's even perfect for lighting a group of people without any restrictions, and it's so forgiving to work with. Now, I know it looks like a lot to set up, but trust me, the results are worth it. The light is so organic and natural looking, you won't be able to resist giving it a try. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and start experimenting with your own modifiers, because who knows what kind of amazing shots you'll be able to capture. So I'm having a look at some of the images that I picked from the shoot, and this is the first one that we shot with a very harsh light. I also chose this one which has her hand in the frame because you can actually, looking at the shadows, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that we do have a definition in the shadows. And what I was talking about, the catch lights, you can see in her eye as well. We don't really have, a definition of a catch light in the eye. Aside that, it's a nice portrait. It has a lot of contrast. This is really cool. Now, if I zoom into this one, for example, let me just zoom back into this other portrait. And if we just look at the nose, because the light was in the same general direction, you will see that the image where we added the softbox, because of the size of the softbox, because it's not that small, we do have a bit of definition in terms of the shadows just falling right under the nose. But if you look at the hard light, you can see it's very defined. Over here it's a little bit softer, and the specularity on the image on the left is really high. If I zoom into the lashes, you can see that we do have very reflective quality of that light, and her skin texture is really popping. Meanwhile, it's a little bit subtle on here, but it still has that contrast and depth. And just under her neck, you will again see that we have some defined shadows, but obviously it's not as much as the hard lights, especially looking at the one with the softbox. Then if I just zoom into the last image, which is the one that we shot with the screen, you can see that it really has a very subtle tonal transition. So let me zoom in again to this one, zoom into this one. You can see her cheeks, for example, has this very popping highlights, including her lips, like it's very defined. Same with a very harsh light. But when we jump over to the scrim shot, which is the last one over here, you can see that everything is just soft. The gradation from the highlight to the midtones and shadows is really soft and flattering. If I look under her neck as well, you can see that everything just fades gradually into each other. And so these are the general qualities or differences I wanted you to note, so that when you're implementing these modifiers in your shot, HeadShots, you know how they look, you know how they work, and then you know when and how to use them. So if you got some value out of this video, just let me know by giving this video a like and subscribe if you haven't. Also check out my digital store. I have amazing products that would help with your retouching game. As a way for me to keep the channel going. So cop something to support your boy. I'll catch you guys in the next video. And remember, don't ever give up.